Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins History. Today, we are exploring a coin that millions of people have held without ever realizing its hidden value. It is small, silver-colored, and easy to dismiss at first glance. But that little 10-cent piece might just have the potential to surprise you, especially if you know what to look for. This is the tale of the United States Roosevelt one dime from the year 1980, and its true worth in the world of rare coins. As you hold a dime in your hand, imagine a time more than 4 decades ago. The year was 1980, and the United States was entering a new era. Technology was advancing, the culture was shifting, and Americans were embracing the future with a sense of bold optimism. In the middle of these changes, the United States Mint was busy producing billions of everyday coins that people would use without thinking twice. Among those coins was the 1980 Roosevelt dime. Although the dime may seem ordinary, it carries with it a legacy deeply connected to American history. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, helped guide the nation through the Great Depression and World War II. As a tribute to his leadership, the dime began bearing his portrait shortly after his passing. Every Roosevelt dime minted since 1946 honors his dedication to the country and his role in founding the March of Dimes, but the 1980 dime holds a special place in numismatic conversations for several reasons. First, it was part of an era where coins were heavily circulated. People used cash daily, far more than we do now, so most dimes from this period experienced wear, scratches and dents. That makes pristine examples quite scarce. Second, the 1980 series includes coins produced at multiple United States Mint locations, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint gave the coin slight variations in strike quality, details, and collectability, but what makes one dime worth more than another? The answer begins with condition. A coin untouched by circulation, showing perfect luster, sharp details, smooth surfaces and no blemishes, is what collectors call a mint state coin. If the dime looks like it just left the mint yesterday, even though it was minted more than 40 years ago, it becomes far more desirable. Grading services evaluate coins on a 70-point scale, and dimes that land in the highest ranges fetch impressive attention. There is another special feature that can boost the desirability of a Roosevelt dime: the sharpness of the torch on the reverse side. On this side of the coin, the torch has bands wrapped around it. When those bands appear perfectly separated, crisp and fully defined, the coin earns a designation known among collectors as a full band strike. Full bands dimes are significantly harder to find, especially from earlier decades, because they require strong striking pressure at the mint. Only the best preserved and best struck examples achieve this distinction. Some 1980 dimes also attract interest because of unusual minting anomalies. These may include slight off-center strikes, die cracks, metal flaws, or other rare features that weren't intended by the mint. Although these errors might seem small or insignificant to the average, collectors often treasure them because they make the coin unique. No two error coins are exactly alike. Of course, the most important question for many viewers is simple: how much can a 1980 Roosevelt dime be worth today? The truth is that most circulated examples remain worth only their face value. They are too common, too worn, and too ordinary. But a mint state dime, especially one that has received a high professional grade with a full bands designation, can sell for far more than you might expect. Picture a coin originally spent as pocket change suddenly rising into the world of auctions, professional collectors, and bidding competitions. When a coin this small enters a high-grade category, it becomes a miniature treasure. Collectors know that perfect strikes from the 1980 series do not appear often. That makes them willing to pay a premium when one shows up in the market, and now comes the moment that many of you have been waiting for. Among the highest quality 1980 Roosevelt dimes, one exceptional example graded in superior mint state with excellent strike detail has sold at auction for the impressive amount of $822.50. Today, we're going deep into the world of American coinage to uncover the surprising history, hidden value, and collector demand surrounding the United States Roosevelt one dime from the year 1974. At first glance, it looks like nothing more than an ordinary 10-cent piece. But, as every coin enthusiast knows, appearances can be deceiving. imagine traveling back to the early 1970s. America was changing rapidly. New technologies were emerging, culture was shifting, and the nation was redefining itself after decades of political and social transformation. In that era, cash was king. People used coins every single day, at gas stations, diners, laundromats, telephone booths, and corner stores. It was a time when pocket change truly meant something, and among that sea of circulating metal was the Roosevelt dime of 1974. The Roosevelt dime, named after Franklin Delano Roosevelt, had already been in production for nearly 3 decades by this time. Roosevelt's leadership during the Great Depression and World War II left a lasting mark on the nation, and his work with the March of Dimes inspired the dime to carry his portrait. Every time someone held a dime, they held a tribute to a president whose efforts shaped modern America, but the 1974 dime holds a special fascination for collectors not because it is rare in number, but because finding a perfect example is far more difficult than people imagine. Billions of dimes were produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints during that year. These coins went immediately into circulation, where they were tossed into cash drawers, scraped against other coins, dropped onto floors, rubbed inside pockets and worn down through years of use. As a result, most surviving 1974 dimes today show heavy signs of wear, yet, there is a small category of these coins that manage to escape the wear and tear of everyday life. Some were set aside by collectors at the time. Some ended up in sealed sets. Some remained untouched in bags or rolls stored away for years. These uncirculated examples are the ones that catch a collector's eye. A 1974 dime with clean surfaces, bright mint luster and sharply defined details becomes far more than a simple piece of pocket change. It becomes a collectible, a tiny treasure preserved through time. Collectors pay close attention to the condition of the torch on the reverse of the Roosevelt dime. The bands around the torch, the horizontal lines, must appear fully separated and deeply struck to earn what collectors call a full bands designation. This detail may seem small, almost insignificant to the untrained eye, but to a numismatist, it represents craftsmanship and rarity. A 1974 dime with full bands is significantly scarcer than a regular strike, especially in the highest grades of preservation. Then there are mint errors, an entire world of fascination on their own. A slight misalignment during striking, a die crack, a clipped planchet, or an off-center imprint can transform an ordinary dime into a unique collectible. No two mint errors are exactly the same, and collectors love the individuality of these pieces. A 1974 dime with a dramatic error can become particularly desirable and command prices far beyond face value. Still, for the average person, the question remains, what makes a simple 10-cent coin worth more than 10 cents? The answer lies in scarcity combined with condition. Billions of 1974 dimes exist, yes, but only a tiny fragment of them remain in flawless or near-flawless condition. Only a select few exhibit exceptional sharpness. Only a handful qualify as top-grade examples. That tiny percentage, the best of the best, is where true value emerges. It is important to remember that 99% of the dimes from this year are still worth exactly what they say, 10 cents. They are too worn, too common and too ordinary to bring in significant collector interest. But the remaining 1%, the ones preserved with care or struck with extraordinary quality, are the gems of the series. They are the coins that make collectors pause, inspect closely and, in some cases, bid fiercely when one appears at auction, and that brings us to the moment everyone is waiting for. Among all the 1974 Roosevelt dimes known to collectors, one exceptional example graded in superb mint state condition achieved impressive recognition in the world of coin auctions. A single 1974 dime of superior quality sold for the remarkable amount of $992. Today, we are exploring the United States Roosevelt 1 dime from the year 1987, a coin that at first glance may seem ordinary but can be a hidden gem in the eyes of collectors. This is not just a 10-cent piece, it is a piece of history, a symbol of American heritage, and for the lucky few, a source of real value. The year 1987 may not immediately stand out in history books, but it was a fascinating time in American culture and economics. The country was emerging from a decade of change, balancing technological progress with financial challenges. In the midst of this era, the United States Mint produced billions of coins, including the beloved Roosevelt dime, which has been a staple of American currency since 1946. The dime features the profile of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a president remembered for his leadership through the Great Depression and World War II, and for his efforts with the March of Dimes campaign to eradicate polio. Every dime serves as a tribute to his enduring legacy. The 1987 Roosevelt dime was produced at multiple mint locations, including Philadelphia and Denver, with Philadelphia coins bearing the P Mint mark and Denver coins carrying the D Mint mark. Millions of these dimes entered circulation, passing through cash registers, wallets, and coin jars across the nation. Most of them were used for everyday purchases, resulting in the typical wear and tear we expect from coins that have traveled through countless hands. This widespread circulation makes finding a coin in pristine, uncirculated condition more challenging, and more exciting for collectors. Collectors are particularly interested in Roosevelt dimes in excellent condition, often referred to as mint state coins. A mint state 1987 dime is a coin that has never been used in daily transactions, preserving its original luster, sharp details, and smooth surfaces. These coins stand out because they provide a glimpse of the minting process in its purest form. In the world of numismatics, condition can significantly impact a coin's value, making a pristine dime far more valuable than a worn example, even if it was produced in the millions. A key feature collectors look for on the reverse of the Roosevelt dime is the torch, which symbolizes liberty, strength, and vigilance. The bands across the torch must appear fully separated and sharply struck to earn the coveted full bands designation. Not all coins achieve this, making full bands dimes rarer and more desirable. A 1987 dime with this designation can attract premium interest among collectors, as it demonstrates both superior striking quality and preservation. Minting errors also play a role in a coin's potential value. Slight variations, misstrikes, die cracks, or off-center imprints can make a 1987 dime one of a kind. These anomalies are celebrated among collectors because they tell a story of the minting process and create coins that are unique from the millions of standard issues. Even minor differences can elevate a coin's desirability and, in some cases, its market value. While most 1987 dimes remain common and are worth only face value, those in pristine condition, with full bands or notable errors, stand out as collectors' items. The key is knowing how to identify these characteristics and understanding the coin's grade. Professional grading services assess coins based on a 70-point scale, examining surface quality, luster, strike sharpness, and any imperfections. High-grade coins attract the attention of serious collectors and can fetch prices far above what casual observers might expect. So, what can a high-quality 1987 Roosevelt dime be worth today? For everyday circulated coins, the value remains close to 10 cents. They are plentiful and commonly found in rolls, coin jars, and change. But for those that meet the highest standards of preservation and craftsmanship, the results are far more impressive. Coins that are perfectly struck, display full bands, and have been certified by a professional grading service can draw serious interest at auctions and in private sales. And now comes the moment that collectors and enthusiasts have been waiting for. Among all the 1987 Roosevelt dimes, one exceptional example, in perfect mint state, with sharp full bands, sold at auction for the incredible sum of $775. Today, we are exploring one such coin, the United States Roosevelt 1 dime from the year 1990. To most people, it is a simple 10-cent coin, something you might find in a wallet or a cash register. But to collectors and enthusiasts, this coin is a window into American history, craftsmanship, and occasionally, a surprising treasure. The year 1990 was a period of change in America. The nation was transitioning into a new decade, with advances in technology, shifts in culture, and a growing economy. Amid these changes, the United States Mint was producing billions of coins to keep up with the demands of everyday commerce. Among them was the Roosevelt dime, a coin that had been circulating for over 4 decades, carrying the portrait of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. Roosevelt's legacy as a leader during the Great Depression and World War II, as well as his work with the March of Dimes to combat polio, is immortalized on this small coin, making it both historically significant and symbolically meaningful. The 1990 Roosevelt dime was produced at several mint locations, primarily the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with each mint striking coins with slight variations in finish and quality. Most of these coins went directly into circulation, ending up in pockets, cash registers, vending machines, and coin jars across the country. Over the years, daily use caused wear and tear, leaving most of the 1990 dimes in a state far removed from their original mint luster. This makes coins in uncirculated, pristine condition increasingly rare and valuable to collectors. For collectors, condition is paramount. A mint state 1990 dime is one that has never been used in regular transactions, retaining its original shine, sharp details, and smooth edges. Coins in such condition are often professionally graded to confirm their quality and to provide assurance to buyers and collectors. A high-grade 1990 dime can immediately attract attention and demand a premium, especially when it meets other desirable criteria. One of the most sought-after features on the Roosevelt dime is the condition of the torch on the reverse side. The horizontal bands across the torch must appear fully separated and sharply defined to qualify for what collectors call a full bands designation. Full bands coins are significantly rarer than their standard counterparts because achieving that level of strike quality requires precision during minting. A 1990 dime with full bands is instantly more desirable, especially when combined with excellent overall preservation. Mint errors also add excitement to the world of coin collecting. Slight misalignments, die cracks, off-center strikes, or other imperfections can transform an ordinary dime into a unique collectible. Each error tells a story about the minting process and makes the coin a one-of-a-kind piece, appealing to collectors who value rarity and uniqueness. Even minor variations can elevate a 1990 dime above its standard counterparts and increase its value significantly. It is important to note that most 1990 dimes, which were circulated widely, remain worth very close to their face value. They are common, and for casual collectors, there is little financial incentive to purchase these everyday coins. However, for the coins that have been preserved exceptionally well, or that exhibit full bands or rare mint errors, the value can be surprisingly high. These coins stand out as the cream of the crop, sought after by collectors willing to pay a premium for quality and rarity. Identifying a valuable 1990 dime involves careful observation. Look for sharp details, a clean surface free from scratches or wear, and bright luster. Examine the reverse side for fully defined torch bands that earn the full bands designation. If a coin shows these qualities, it may be worth further investigation, grading, and possibly entering the collector market. Professional grading ensures authenticity and provides a trusted assessment of quality, which can make a dramatic difference in the coin's market value. So, what is the value of a 1990 Roosevelt dime in today's collector market? For ordinary circulated examples, the value remains modest, often just slightly above 10 cents. But for mint state dimes with full bands or notable mint errors, the story changes entirely. Collectors are willing to pay a premium for these coins, and auctions provide a clear picture of just how much value a high-quality specimen can command. Among all the 1990 Roosevelt dimes, one exceptional example, preserved in perfect condition, professionally graded, and featuring full bands, sold at auction for the remarkable sum of $650. From a humble 10-cent coin to a highly coveted collector's item commanding hundreds of dollars, the 1990 Roosevelt dime demonstrates how attention to detail, preservation, and rarity can transform an ordinary coin into a miniature treasure. Today, we are diving into the fascinating world of the United States Roosevelt one dime from the year 1977. At first glance, it may appear ordinary, just a 10-cent coin like the ones you find in your pocket or wallet. But for collectors and history enthusiasts, this coin is anything but ordinary. It is a snapshot of the past, a symbol of meticulous craftsmanship, and, in the right condition, a hidden treasure. The year 1977 was a unique period in American history. The nation was navigating post-Vietnam War transitions, economic challenges, and cultural shifts. Amid all of this, daily life continued, and coins were an essential part of everyday transactions. The United States Mint was producing billions of coins to meet the demands of commerce, and among them was the beloved Roosevelt dime. This coin carried the familiar profile of President Roosevelt, honoring his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, and commemorating his pivotal role in the March of Dimes campaign, which fought to eradicate polio. Holding a Roosevelt dime is like holding a piece of American heritage in your hand. In 1977, Roosevelt dimes were minted primarily in Philadelphia and Denver, with the Philadelphia coins bearing no mint mark and the Denver coins marked with AD. Most of these dimes were destined for everyday use. They were exchanged in stores, left in change jars, and carried in pockets across the country. Over time, the majority of these coins experienced wear and tear. Scratches, worn surfaces, and dulled details are common, making pristine examples increasingly rare. For collectors, the rarity of an untouched 1977 dime is what makes it truly exciting. The condition of a coin is the cornerstone of its value. Mint state coins, those that have never been circulated and retain their original luster, are the most desirable. A 1977 Roosevelt dime in mint state presents sharp details, smooth surfaces, and a brilliance that reflects the coin as it left the mint decades ago. In the world of numismatics, condition can dramatically elevate a coin's worth. The higher the grade, the more collectors are willing to pay, especially when the coin exhibits exceptional striking quality. One of the features collectors focus on is the reverse side of the Roosevelt dime, particularly the torch. The torch represents liberty, strength, and vigilance, and the horizontal bands wrapped around it are critical in determining a coin's desirability. Coins with fully separated and sharply defined bands are known as full bands dimes. Achieving this level of strike quality requires precision during minting, making full bands coins rarer than standard issues. A 1977 dime with full bands is highly prized and often commands attention in the collector market. Mint errors add another layer of intrigue. Slight variations, off-center strikes, die cracks, or planchet flaws can transform an otherwise ordinary coin into a unique collectible. Each error coin tells a story about the minting process and is distinct from every other coin, making it highly desirable for collectors who value individuality. Even minor anomalies can elevate a 1977 dime above its standard counterparts, increasing its market value substantially. Despite the fascination with full bands and mint errors, most 1977 dimes remain common, circulating coins worth only their face value. However, the select few that are perfectly preserved, with exceptional strike quality or notable minting anomalies, stand out as rare finds. These coins are sought after by collectors who appreciate their historical significance, condition, and potential investment value. Identifying a valuable 1977 Roosevelt dime requires careful observation. Look for coins that retain their original luster, have sharp, well-defined details, and show no signs of circulation. Examine the reverse side for fully defined torch bands that qualify for the full bands designation. Coins that meet these criteria are rare and can be candidates for professional grading. Certification from a recognized grading service not only confirms authenticity but also enhances a coin's credibility and market appeal, often dramatically increasing its auction value. So, what is the value of a 1977 Roosevelt dime in today's market? Ordinary circulated coins remain close to 10 cents in value, but for uncirculated mint state coins with full bands or notable minting errors, the potential is much higher. Serious collectors pay attention to auctions and private sales, where coins in exceptional condition can command remarkable sums, reflecting their rarity and desirability. Among all the 1977 Roosevelt dimes, one outstanding example, preserved in perfect mint state condition, professionally graded, and exhibiting full bands, sold at auction for the impressive sum of $845. From a humble 10-cent coin to a collectible prized by numismatists, the 1977 Roosevelt dime demonstrates how history, preservation, and rarity can transform a common coin into a miniature treasure.